Okay, what if I told you that you could completely transform your life in just 1 year by getting only 1% better each day? That's the huge promise of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. And the secret? Well, it isn't some massive, life-altering change. It's actually something much, much smaller.
The whole idea is to get just 1% better every single day. Sounds simple, right? But here's the problem we all run into. We try to change everything all at once. We go all in, full of motivation, and then, inevitably, we burn out and we fail.
I'm sure you've been there. You've got new goals, a sudden burst of motivation, a brand new plan, and then, a few weeks later, you're right back where you started. So what gives? Why is it so hard to make new habits stick? Well, this book explains exactly why that happens.
So yeah, let's dive into that. Why do our big, ambitious goals fail so often? We have all felt that really frustrating cycle of motivation that just, poof, fizzles out. But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's not a lack of willpower at all? James Clear's big argument is that failure isn't about lacking discipline. It's about focusing on the wrong thing entirely. See, we think success requires this huge, heroic effort, but the truth is, it's actually built on tiny, almost unnoticeable habits done consistently. And this is where the magic happens. That little 1% improvement, it doesn't feel like much day to day, but those tiny gains, they compound. It's like a slow burn that, over time, leads to absolutely remarkable results.
And that's what Clear calls atomic habits. You know, the best way to think about them is like compound interest, but for self-improvement. They just grow silently in the background until one day you look up and realize, whoa, everything has changed.
But here's the part that most people completely miss, and it's a real game changer. Clear says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you actually fall to the level of your systems. And even deeper than that, your habits are all driven by who you truly believe you are.
So the most important thing is this mental shift. Instead of focusing on an outcome, like say, I want to lose 20 pounds, you embody an identity. I am a healthy person, right? Because a healthy person just naturally makes healthy choices. A writer writes. That identity is what drives your behavior almost automatically.
So how do these habits actually form inside our brains? Well, Clear breaks it down into a really simple 4-step loop that drives every single one of our behaviors, the good ones and the bad ones. This loop is basically running our lives, and most of the time, we don't even realize it's happening.
Let's break it down with a simple example. The cue is the trigger, like your phone buzzing. The craving is that urge, I gotta see that notification. The response is the action. You pick up the phone. And the reward is that little hit of satisfaction, that dopamine spike. Cue, craving, response, reward. This happens hundreds of times a day.
And here is the really good news. This entire loop, it's not set in stone. You can actually engineer it. You can hack every single step to build the good habits and break the bad ones. The question is, how do you actually control it? Well, the key to controlling this whole loop, it isn't about having more willpower. Not at all. It's about smarter design. Specifically, designing your environment to make the good habits the path of least resistance. Think about it. Your willpower is a battery that runs out, but your environment is always on. So you want to make the cues for your good habits super obvious and the cues for your bad habits totally invisible. You want to read more? Easy. Put a book on your pillow. Want to stop doom scrolling at night? Charge your phone in another room. It sounds simple, but it is so effective. And this, right here, is where most of us go wrong. We wait until we feel motivated to do something. But motivation is just an emotion. It comes and goes, it's completely unreliable. A well-designed system, on the other hand, works whether you feel like it or not.
So, okay, how do we actually put all this into practice? We start small. No, I mean ridiculously small. The whole goal is to make the new habit so easy that you literally can't say no. You're not trying to build the habit itself at first, you're just building the habit of showing up.
Clear gives us 3 really simple strategies to get going. First is the 2-minute rule. Scale any new habit down so it takes less than 2 minutes to do, just one push-up. Then there's habit stacking. Link your new habit to one you already do, like after I make my morning coffee, I will read 1 page. And finally, track your progress. Get a calendar, put an X on it every day you do it. Whatever you do, don't break the chain.
And look, this whole framework isn't just some nice idea. It's praised for being incredibly practical. Mark Manson, the author of The Subtle Art, he calls it supremely practical and useful.
Best-selling author Adam Grant totally agrees, calling it
the guide you need to break bad routines and make good ones. This stuff isn't just theory. It's a real, practical guide that actually works.
So here's the bottom line. Atomic Habits teaches us that success isn't some dramatic, overnight event or a finish line you cross. It's the product of thousands of tiny, seemingly insignificant choices that you make every single day.
You don't have to overhaul your entire life today. You just need to change your next action. Win the next 2 minutes. Focus on that 1% improvement, because the person you eventually become is just the sum of your habits. So, what's your next action going to be?